Hi there, I'm Annalisa Itkor, and here we are once again at the Hilton Head Veterinary Clinic. Now, Dr. Dixon, I'd like to relate a situation that maybe you can help me out with. I had a friend who had a dog, and this dog had a really bad scratching problem. My friend swore it had fleas, but she could never find fleas. Was this something for her to be concerned about?
It is something to be concerned about, but so many people will call us up and say, my dog or my cat is scratching, it's fleas. Very often, while fleas are a problem, and we do have to deal with them a lot here, but it's allergies most of the time. And it can be an allergy to grasses, trees, pollens, molds, and foods.
Do they react the same way that people do? Do they sneeze? Do they get watery eyes? Or is it just scratching usually?
Well, that's an excellent thing. What causes the symptoms of allergies are cells in our body that excrete histamines. In people, those cells are in the highest concentration in our respiratory tract. So if we breathe in something we're allergic to, we either get hay fever or we get asthma. However, in dogs and cats, those cells are in the highest concentration in the skin, especially face, feet, armpits, and groin. And they itch the worst in those places.
Now, does the scratching make the problem worse?
That is the problem, is the scratching, is they itch, so they scratch. The more they scratch, the more it itches. Then they start mutilating the skin. Then they can get infections, and it just goes from there.
How do you stop that cycle?
How we stop that cycle is a very good question. First thing is we can't cure that allergy. Many people think that we can, and we should. What it is we are not curing the allergy. We are actually treating the symptoms. We are trying to get that animal to stop scratching and deal with whatever consequences from that, so that then we can help them feel better. But it's not a permanent solution. It is a temporary thing until those symptoms arise again.
And what are the options that are available to us?
The options are many. And that's why it's so important to be able to consult your veterinarian. And we carry many, many different products. First of all, with regard to diets, for animals that have food allergies, we have diets that are specifically made to decrease their reaction to that. A diet such as ZD like this is the cat variety. This is actually, the components are made to be so small that the animal can't recognize them as whatever they're allergic to. Then you get other diets that are novel protein sources, like this one is duck and potato. There's venison potato, rabbit and potato, barley and oats, all depending upon what they're allergic to, because we can't fix the allergy, but we can try to avoid what they're allergic to, and that's the key with diets.
So this type of diet would be specifically for a food allergy?
For a food allergy.
Okay.
For an animal that doesn't have a food allergy but otherwise allergic, we have diets that might be high in omega-3 fatty acids, which are not going to cure that allergy nor help as good as our other medicines, but it will help to decrease the symptoms and help improve skin health.
Now, what's something that might help in a situation, as you mentioned, being allergic to mold or grasses and things like that?
Since we can't avoid it, short of moving, what we do is we end up treating the symptoms. Now, the mainstay that we use here are the, quote, cortisone derivatives. Now, those prednisone, methylprednisolone, several different variations, what those do is those are going after the inflammation and the itch. They work extremely well, and they are the least expensive, but sometimes can potentially create health problems. That's why we always like to monitor those animals to make sure that we're having full benefit without the side effects.
Now, are these topical treatments?
Those are systemic. A lot of times might be an injection that lasts for a month that will give them relief, and as long as whatever they're allergic to is gone, they'll be fine. But when whatever they're allergic to comes back again, they'll start the symptoms. For animals that might have a problem with the cortisone, or that we want to avoid issues like that, we do have other things, but what happens is the efforts and expense increases significantly while trying to avoid potential problems. Some of the things that we use as an example are, this is called Atopica active ingredient cyclosporine. This is generic. This suppresses the immune system without some of the side effects, but unfortunately it's pretty expensive. And a large dog can be quite expensive. But what we do, as we do with everything, is I hunted high and low till I could find a generic that saves about half the price. So again, we're able to give a cutting edge technology, but I try very hard to be the most cost effective possible because money doesn't grow on trees.
That's the truth.
So that's an example. Also, you have some topicals that can be done. And again, the assortment is many. This is for yeast infections, which can be a secondary complication from scratching. That one is antibacterial. This one is an oatmeal and helps to stop the itch. This one adds more moisture and it has antihistamines in.
I feel like
this has a little cortisone in it. This strips and helps for infections, but will also take off flea products. The point is no animal, no two animals are alike, and no program is the same for each animal. But we carry all these things because it's important for us to be able to tailor that treatment regimen for that animal and how they need it. If we need antibacterials, we deal with that. If we're primarily itching, we deal with that. If we need more nutraceuticals, we do that. I have been here for 21 years. I have lived with allergies on Hilton Head for 21 years, and I have formulated, through my experience and expertise, I have formulated protocols that work the most cost effectively, and also to help keep that animal the most healthy possible.
Good. Well, and healthy, I think, in a lot of ways is synonymous with comfortable. Because if they're uncomfortable and they're unhappy, they're unhealthy.
Absolutely, and that is our goal, is to make happy pets and happy owners. Those situations, I get phone calls from owners all the time. They'll say, you got to help us out because I haven't slept in 3 days because Fluffy is scratching all night long and she sleeps on my bed. So it is not only for the animals, but for the owners, but we have the expertise to be able to tailor a program for everybody's individual needs and desires.
Well, clearly you offer a lot of solutions to what could potentially be a very unpleasant situation for your pet.
Yes, we do.
Terrific. Well, in Hilton Head, we invite you to come on in, take a look at your options, and get your pet on the track to better health.